guys! Welcome to the very first episode of the Digital Ambisyoso for 2025! Yay! Fun fact lang, if I just continued and stayed consistent with this podcast, 3 years na sana to. Because I launched this in January of 2022. So imagine the progress that I have had, diba? And the wins na rin, and of course also the pains and the losses. But, we're starting today. We're starting with another day one, and that's totally okay. So if you're someone like me, na nakarami na ng day one, whether that is in your fitness or weight loss journey, which we all know, andun na naman tayo, New Year resolution season na naman, it's totally okay. The most important thing is you have the courage to start again. Kasi minsan there is shame and guilt with starting again. But then I congratulate you if you're starting all over again this 2025, then that just means that you have something to celebrate. Now, this episode is all about resets. Yes, reset. Pushing the reset button. And sometimes we're not even the one who pushed it. I will be sharing with you the 6 resets that I've had in the last 14 years. Itong resets that I will tell you about, lahat sila unplanned. Either hindi ko alam kung saan ako dadalhin ni Lord, or dinala ko ni Lord sa isang lugar na totally hindi ko alam kung ano yung gagawin ko, how I would act, or what I would do in that stage or in that season of my life. My point in sharing these 6 resets is to, number 1, encourage you, and number 2, share to you the things that I did in the hopes na they will be practical steps or advice for you on how you could also overcome or handle your own resets today, lalong-lalo na if you had another reset in 2024. I know I'm not alone. Na yung 2024 naman, parang labanan naman ng guardian angels, di ba? Palakasan ng guardian angels sa dami ng mga struggles. I know I'm not alone. If that's you, raise your hand. Di ba? Para kang baliw, di ba? Mag-isa ka, naka-raise ka ng hand. Because I am with you in that season na 2024 has also been another reset year for me. There was a lot, buti na lang through God's grace na lampasan natin to. So, wag na nating pahabain to. Let's already start with my very first reset, which is in 2010, na naging network marketer ako. Sa hindi kaalaman ng lahat. Ako po ay isang certified public accountant. I was a CPA. And then, nagtatrabaho ako nun sa isang hotel when this opportunity was presented to me. And all my life, before that opportunity presentation, I really believe na the only way for one person to get rich or to at least succeed is to do good in school. Kaya nga sa UP rin ako pinag-aral ng mga parents ko. And then to become a manager someday. Although, of course, that is a path. But that is the only path that I knew how. And I was not happy with that path. I was already working and parang, ganito ba to for the next 40 years? Oh my God. Magsa-sign out ako sa... So I was very open to any kind of opportunity, I guess, that came in because I wasn't happy with the profession that I had. Now, here comes the opportunity. And then sabi niya, yung isang hindi nakapagtapos, parang high school graduate lang siya, he is earning 2 million pesos per month. And being the mukhang pera that I am, the ambisyosa mukhang pera that I am, parang nag-sparkle yung mata ko. Alam mo yung may emojis, di ba? Nag-sparkle yung mata. That happened to me. And sabi ko, oh my God, pwede pala yun. So, I was already sold on the opportunity and then I started up to the point na naging full-time pa talaga ako and I left my CPA career. So, nabaliw rin talaga ako dun sa networking. To the level na pumupunta na rin kami ng Maynila, pumupunta kami ng mga uplines, sa mga bahay ng mga uplines namin. Grabe yung mga training. But, I am really happy na naging networker ako. Kasi that kind of training and mindset shift, hindi mo makukuha sa ibang profession. Maybe sa sales, kapag tine-training sila. Pero iba kasi yung training talaga sa networking eh. The mindset shifts and the training, yun yung biggest blessing na nabigay sa akin ng network marketing na industry. I did not succeed there, not because it was not a good opportunity. I just wasn't probably the right person for it or it was not the right opportunity for me. I will not bash the industry kasi ang dami kong friends na yumaman doon at andun pa rin sila hanggang ngayon. It's been a decade now. Their lives have flourished, kumbaga, but it was not for me. Kasi hindi rin pwedeng tamad ka na networker eh. Walang yumayaman na networker na tamad. Walang yumayaman na tamad, period. Next, in 2013, I became a mom. And that was life-changing as well. Oh my God, yung labor pains... It was something that I have never felt my entire life. That kind of pain, yung parang, oh my God, totoo pala yung sinasabi nila na kapag nanganganak, sobrang sakit. Now, this is not to scare the single people out there or those who are married na manganganak pa lang or magkaka-baby pa lang. When you see your baby, everything is really gonna be worth it. You would feel the kind of love towards a person na never mo pang naramdaman. So, 2013 changed my life because that was the first time that I became a mom. I gave birth to Sophia in 2013, and at that time, she was one of the biggest blessings in my life, and she pulled me out of a dark spot in my life also. And she was the reason na bakit I have the strength to move on and I have the strength to continue. In 2016, I became a freelancer. My world shifted in 2016 when I became a freelancer kasi before naman, akala ko, networking lang ang way para yumaman ako. Because si networking, nasold niya na ako sa idea na ang hirap mag-traditional business. If you are a networker, alam mo yan na yung mindsetting natin, di ba? Yung parang pag nag-traditional business ka, ganito yung capital, ganito yung effort, magkano lang yung kita. So, I was already sold in the idea na baka sa networking lang ako pwedeng yumaman. But then, in 2016, I became a freelancer, which I felt was more bagay sa personality ko as an introvert. To be honest, I hated to be around people. But I am sociable, pero sociable ako lalo na sa mga kakilala ko lang. But when it's strangers and you need to meet strangers and network and, oh my God, stressful siya for me. So, in 2016, na-open ulit yung mata ko in another kind of opportunity na pwede ka palang kumita while you are at home. And while you're taking care of your kids, hindi mo kailangang pumunta sa Maynila, sa kung saan-saan. You are already earning money and you're earning good money. Dahil dollars to. Meron kasi akong classmate in elementary. Tapos tinanong ko siya and then sabi niya, nag-work daw siya sa Upwork and then binabayaran siya ng dollars. At that time, hindi ko talaga mag-grasp yung buong concept ng may magbabayad from abroad. Hindi ba scam yun? Marireceive mo ba talaga yung dollars? I mean, hindi siya kayang ma-absorb ng utak ko yung lahat ng information na yun na may opportunity. But in 2016, I finally tried and then I made a profile in Upwork and then sabi naman dun, the least naman na rate is $3 and that is also what I tried. And everything became real to me. Yung growth ko naman sa freelancing is very organic because I always just said yes to demands. Parang, kaya mo ba to? Sige po, try ko po. Tingnan natin. Yun parati yung sagot ko. I never said, no, hindi ko kaya. I always said yes, itatry ko. And then, tingnan natin. Hindi rin naman ako nagsisinungaling na sabihin ko na, kaya ko yan, tas hindi ko pala kaya. Yung sagot ko parati is, susubukan ko po. Kung okay lang po, subukan ko muna. Tapos, tingnan natin kung kaya. So, yun. And that was the start, kumbaga sabi nila, the rest is history. Until now, yung online talaga yung pangkabuhayan showcase namin. Dito nakaahon ng pamilya namin. Dito kami naging okay financially dahil sa lahat ng opportunities online. And the reason bakit may Digital Ambisyosa is because of that reset or shift in 2016 na I started to become a freelancer. In 2019 naman, one of the most tragic things happened to me and I became a widow. I actually lost my husband in 2019. And that was one of the hardest points in my life, sa totoo lang. Along with the family drama that came with my husband's death, the illness. I mean, I was only 31. Liam was only 1 year old and Sophia was only 5 or 6. Never talaga siyang papasok sa isip mo na magiging byuda ka, magiging widow ka at the age of 31. But of course it happens and it happens to other people. But when it happens to you, parang hindi totoo. Parang ang taas ng shock level after everything that has happened. We had to learn to live without my husband. He was a very loving husband, a loving dad. He was a really good man. And we were really lucky that even for a short time, we had him in our lives. Malaking blessing talaga siya sa buhay ko at sa buhay ng mga anak namin. One of the things na sinasabi ko sa mama ko is, sayang no, kasi itong buhay na meron na ako ngayon, the level of mindset din, the behavior, the kind of person that I am generally, hindi naabutan ng asawa ko. Pero yung mom ko, yung sinagot niya sa akin is, you wouldn't be like that kung andito pa siya. And sabi ko, ay grabe ka naman. But if you think of it deeper, totoo din naman yung sinabi niya because I wouldn't be this strong, I wouldn't be this resilient, I wouldn't have worked so hard, I would have been comfortable with the government opportunities that I had if I still had my husband. Kasi before siya namatay, I already had a regular post in the government and I was already offered jobs na andito lang sa city rin namin at a local state university and then magiging accountant ako doon or internal auditor and the pay was good. The pay was 60,000 and I think for a regular person, okay na rin naman yun. But iniisip ko kasi yung mga utang ko, yung 2 million ko na utang, sabi ko hindi ko mababayaran yun. Kailan ko mababayaran yun kung ganun lang yung sahod ko? So, sabi ko, I will take a risk, magfu-full time ako sa freelancing. So, that's what I did in 2019 and sa awa naman ng mahal na Diyos, dun talaga rin kami nakaraos when I took the leap of faith. Na it wasn't practical, of course, but I felt that that was the right choice for me. Kasi nga, hindi naman ako happy, di ba, bilang accountant. So, parang bakit ko babalikan yun? Just for the sake of money? So, I chose the path that has unlimited potential rather than the one with a secure and fixed na income. In 2021, I started the agency. So, that was actually the pandemic. And a lot of people were losing jobs. I had a good boss already, or I had a good client. And sabi ko, okay na ako dito, ganito na lang. Sana ganito na lang, long-term na client na. And then, I was receiving invites. Kasi nga, entrepreneurs are starting to discover na ay kailangan pala namin maging online. And when they go online, they would need a VA or an assistant and that's me. They need to be on social media and that's me. That's what I did for them. I create social media content for my clients. So yung naisip ko is, kawawa naman tong ibang tao na nawawalan ng work. And here I am, rejecting job invitations because I feel like hindi ko na kaya. So what if mag-subcontract na lang ako, 'di ba? Yung parang kunin ko yung job, pasa ko sa iba, and then I'll see what happens. Konting subcontract lang muna. And I started there and that's where it actually grew and started in 2021. So this year, magiging 4 years na rin yung agency and really started in 2021 during the pandemic. And then last year, 2024, the best thing that has ever happened to me was I received Jesus in my life. Actually, nagpa-water baptism ako dito sa local church namin, which is The Way Church Iloilo. Shout out to my church mates and to my The Way fam. And I've been a Catholic all my life, but just the way I discovered God and I got to know Jesus even deeper last year made a whole difference in my life. To be honest, in 2024, parang nagkaroon pa nga ako ng confusion na parang, this is my identity na I am ambisyosa, I am mukhang pera. But then when you get to know Jesus, parang He changes your heart and you also want to know Him deeper. So dapat si Jesus na yung maging priority natin, di ba? Not the pera anymore, not the profits. Although hindi naman ako ganyan mag-decide, but the way that I have lived my life is I have always strived in my own efforts. And even if I believe in God, parang hindi pa ako fully, hindi pa ganun ka-full yung belief ko, I guess, or yung faith ko. Kasi I still rely on my own efforts, on my own ideas, ganun. I feel like lahat ng burden nakasalalay sa akin, which is too heavy. And I'm actually excited this 2025 kasi sabi ko, Lord, you are my business partner. And hindi na ako magde-decide or hindi ako gagawa ng major step na hindi mo guided. Kung hindi from you, God, or pag walang guidance mo, I will not do it. I would rather not have anything if not with you. And one of the things that I did in 2024 is I started to become faithful in my tithes. So actually, that happened in the last part of 2024 because parang dun ko na lang, parang namulat din ako. I'm so grateful that our pastor continued to preach about giving, about tithing, that it's really not about the money, but it's about the heart. And it's about the faith. So, if God is my business partner, di ba nga dapat yung business partner 50% yung kinukuha nila, but God is only asking for your faithfulness for the 10%. And that is what I am giving Him. I tried tithing before, pero iba kasi yung posture ng heart ko dati. Parang transactional, parang ginagawa kong genie si Lord na sinasabi ko, oh Lord, wala akong pera ngayon, pero nagbibigay ako ng 10%, dapat balikan mo ko nito, Lord. So, for me right now, my giving, although hindi naman sumusobra yung pera ko na parang alam mo yun, there are also times when giving or tithing is not practical because pagtingin mo sa wallet mo, mukha siyang kulang. But then God has always provided and never naman kaming kinulang talaga. So, even before ako nag-tithe, God has been faithful eh. So, I am now just giving this out of my response to His goodness. Yung posture ngayon ng heart ko, hindi na siya demanding at hindi na siya transactional na parang, oh, ito bigay ko Lord, balik mo yung times 7 yan ha, or times 1,000 ha. And so, right now, my heart comes from a posture of thanksgiving, gratitude, and parang, syempre, when you're a part of a family, you have to contribute, di ba? You have a responsibility also to contribute in the family, and I'm happy to be a contributor to the expansion of God's Word and of God's Kingdom. So, itong 6 resets na to, may mga commonalities dito, and number 1, they are all unplanned. Walang ni isa na nangyari dito sa 6 yung pinlano ko. Yes, even Sophia is an unplanned baby. But, not unwanted. She was unplanned, but she was never unwanted. Okay? Let me just clear that out. Wala sila sa vision board ko, di ba? Hindi mo naman ma-vision board yung pagiging widow or yung pagiging byuda. So, parang, lahat ng to, unplanned. And then, number 2, when there is a reset, there is always grief. Even if the reset is good, there is always grief. When I became a mom, it is a good thing. But there is a part of me also needs to grieve for the single version of myself. For the payat version of myself. Diba? Or for the body that I once had. Kasi mag-iiba talaga yung body ng babae once na maging mom na siya eh. When I had the agency, I also had to grieve for the times na medyo hindi ganun ka busy. I also had to grieve for that version of me na walang gaanong responsibilidad. Kasi ngayon na may agency ka na, hindi lang pamilya mo pinapakain mo. Pati pamilya ng mga tao mo nakasalalay na sa'yo, lalo na kung breadwinner sila. So that level of responsibility, sana dati ang lang ng buhay, sarili ko lang iniisip ko. Ngayon, I have to think of other people. Hindi man loss na material, physical, or tao, a part of you would always need to grieve or to say goodbye to an old version of you. Kaya there is always grief in resets. Number 3, sa akin, there is always a leading. What I mean by leading is there's always a gut feel, or what I would rather have that is a leading of the Holy Spirit. Na parang, lalo na nung time na nasa government ako and then kailangan ko mag-take nung leap of faith, I always had the feeling that this is the right decision. Parang ito yung bagay sa akin. But it is scary kasi it's not practical. None of these things are practical. Financially ready, ganon, di ba? Emotionally, mentally, walang ganon. But I felt in my heart that this was the right decision kasi may leading ako. Parang may gut feel ka, or for me, may leading of the Holy Spirit na dito ako dapat. Number 4, it always leads to growth. Some of these resets, nagkaroon talaga ng rock bottom. Merong rock bottom sa mga resets na to. But it always leads to growth. And the beautiful thing here is number 5, there is a cycle. Hindi ko alam kung pag-listen nyo, may narinig kayo na patterns. Pero if you think of it, 2010, 2013, 2016, 2019, 2021, and 2024, lahat ng yon are 3 years apart. And something always happens every 3 years. Ngayon ko lang rin na-realize when I wrote this down and actually put this into paper. Sa lahat ng 3 years na to, there is a rock bottom and a peak. But this is the beautiful part of it. My rock bottom now is still higher than my previous rock bottoms. Like yung rock bottom ko ngayon, nakakakain pa kami, hindi kami gutom. May panggas pa ako ng kotse. Last time nakapag-sine pa rin kami kahit papano. Hindi na nga lang sa Directors Club, di ba? Regular sine. Alam nyo ba, 10 years ago, yung rock bottom ko, hindi ko mabilhan si Sophia ng diaper at ng milk. Yung kaya ko lang bilhin is yung 4 pieces na diaper. Mga mami, alam nyo yan? Yung may 4 pieces na pack. And yung 100 grams lang na milk. Bumili ako sa pharmacy, tumutulo yung luha ko. Kasi yung doctor na nag-promise sa akin na babayaran niya ako ng mga in-order niya from the networking company na products, hindi niya ako sinipot, hindi niya binigay. So the only money that I have left, I guess that was 300 or 200. At yun lang yung kayang bilhin ng pera ko. And naluluha-luha ako na bumibili sa pharmacy. Kasi parang, oh my God, CPA ako, pero paano humantong sa ganito yung buhay ko, di ba? But that was a rock bottom 10 years ago. And ibang-iba na siya sa rock bottom na kinukonsider ko ngayon. So, if you look back in your life, you would also realize that for sure. Na kahit may mga down moments ka ngayon, may mga problema ka, ang layo na rin talaga nung narating mo from the previous version of yourselves. Do this exercise na you also list down the resets in your life or the rock bottoms that you would consider in your life. And find the joy and things to be thankful for na ang layo na ng narating mo. Now, what do you do kapag nasa rock bottom ka ngayon? Number 1 is to embrace the fact that we will figure life out until we die. There's no such thing as kapag 30 ka na, mas alam mo na yung buhay, ganun. There is wisdom, of course, na parang, ay, alam ko na to dati, nangyari na to, etc., etc. But, you will never come to a point that you fully know life. Because may mga mangyayari sa yung bago, there will be a lot of first times, and you will always figure life out until the end. Kahit nga siguro senior ka na, 70, 80, there is always something new to figure out kasi nasa ibang season ka na naman ng buhay mo. So that is something that we should embrace. Number 2, you find a good support system. I am very blessed to have my family, and lately ko na lang rin nalaman na yung family pala na happy and healthy in terms of relationship and of course physically, such a big blessing and a privilege. And if you do not have that, I know na hindi naman tayo lahat lumaki na may ganong privilege, find yourself a community. Our community is welcome. I am open. Message nyo lang ako, di ba? I'm everyone's ate and tita na rin eh. So, find someone na mahihingan mo ng tulong, mahihingan mo ng advice. And the most important thing, kahit hindi financial na tulong, is someone you could tell your story na hindi ka i-judge. That is one of the best blessings in life. People that you could just be point blank honest with, pwede mong mapagsabihan, and then they will not judge you. But rather, they would give you, probably they would tell you na mali yan yung ginawa mo, but they will still embrace you and they would still love you for who you are. They would still accept you. Number 3 is to embrace being misunderstood. I think kapag kasi tayo may mga pangarap or may mga gusto tayong gawin sa buhay, usually gusto natin yung mga tao mag-agree sa atin or maintindihan nila yung ginagawa natin. The dreams that God has planted in our hearts, tayo lang ang meron nun. And we cannot expect people to understand our actions, our decisions, kasi nga hindi sila yung nakakakita ng vision na yon, ng dream na yon. So be okay with being misunderstood. Stop spending your energy, wasting your time and effort in explaining yourself and trying to convince others. Just work silently and let your success do the talking, di ba? Number 4 is, and the most important thing is, make Christ the firm foundation of your life. Never put your full dependence and reliance on people, on money, on career, on business. Sabi nila dati, kapag empleyado ka, secured ka. And then the pandemic happened, and then ang daming na-lay off. Sabi din nila, mas okay sa government. Pero what if yung government na yun, hindi naman maganda pala yung working environment or hindi, nasa corrupt ka na agency, di ba? Not all agencies and bosses are corrupt. Pero what if that happens to you? What is it costing you? Di ba? You have the security but you don't have naman the peace of mind. How about money? What if ma-scam ka, manakawan ka, your business, ganun din. And even on people, you cannot fully rely on family because they are just humans. You cannot fully rely on husbands, or spouses, or wives, di ba? Kasi tao lang rin sila and they will always fail us on our children. So, make Christ the firm foundation of your business and your life. Kasi yung pagmamahal niya, yung good works niya, 'di ba? His word always prevails. His word lasts forever. When you hold on to something that is unshakable, hindi nagbabago, that is something that could truly give you peace. Alam mo ba yung taong stressed, mabilis yung tumanda? But when you have so much peace on your heart, you're happy, your skin is glowing, it radiates on the outside. Your happiness it makes you glow. Kasi wala kang iniis. You're not stressed. Even if you have problems, you have peace kahit na nasa storm ka. Ganun yung nagagawa ni Jesus eh. Kahit na nasa problema ka ngayon, nasa reset ka, you have peace despite being in the storm. And that is why, ito yung pinaka-importante sa lahat ng advice, na sana you find it in your heart to go back to Jesus or to hold on tighter to Jesus. Kasi sa lahat ng turmoil ng reset, the confusion, the fear, sometimes the shame, the guilt that comes with it, kung ano man yung reset na kailangang mangyari sa buhay mo, only Jesus Christ can take that away. And amidst all that, bring back the peace and the hope in your heart. And I think that is what is important in 2025. That you continue to hope that there is a bright future ahead of you. Kasi sinabi yan ni God sa Jeremiah, "For I know the plans I have for you. plans to prosper you and not to harm you, and to give you a bright future. And I will end with that because I don't think that there would be a better closing than the Word of God. And so I hope you found value in this, guys. And I will see you on the next episode.